It's DSP's best games that you didn't play this year. My 10 personal picks of exceptional games that you probably didn't hear about. Number 3, Resident Evil Revelations. Now, just to clarify, I'm sure everyone's going to point out that this is actually an HD re-release of a very popular Nintendo 3DS game released in 2012. And so a lot of people might be saying to me, why is this on the list? I don't understand. Well, it's this simple. Ever since Resident Evil 6 decided to take such a different direction back at the end of 2012 and became more of an action-based shooter and combat game rather than a survival horror game, it seems like there's this large group of people on the internet that just want to pan anything Resident Evil related. And I hate to say it, but I think it's unwarranted, just because, and you'll know if you watch my Game of the Year awards last year and also my review for Resident Evil 6, I'm of the opinion that just because something's different doesn't mean that it's bad. You should weigh and balance something and judge it based off of what it is and not off of your expectations of what it should be. So Resident Evil 6 was nothing like a previous Resident Evil game. It was an action game. We all accept that. And because of that, there's such negativity associated with the franchise. Well, Resident Evil Revelations, in my opinion, actually brought the franchise back to that level where people really liked it. So we're talking back in Resident Evil 4 days. The gameplay is actually extremely reminiscent of Resident Evil 4. You're in closed corridors. You never know where there's going to be a monster jumping around the next corner. There's not a ridiculous amount of 4,000 zombies coming at you so that it waters down the scare effects. You're pretty much limited to this giant boat that is completely overrun with monsters, and it's a lot of fun. For the first time, you're back solo. It's not a co-op game, and the HD graphics were really well done. This game really is a throwback to the classic Resident Evils. However, when I played it, it was like no one wanted to give it the time of day. All I got were hate messages on the video saying, why are you playing this piece of shit? Resident Evil sucks. The views were low. I actually looked at some sales records. The game barely sold. And it's like, wow, are we really going to critically pan this series forever because they decided in one installment to do something differently? I think that's quite ridiculous. And I think if you want to judge one game that way, okay, but don't also pan all future installments. Besides a few little quirks and bugs here or there, Resident Evil Revelations was quite a good HD port of one of my favorite handheld games of the previous year. It was a great throwback to the franchise's roots, where people used to like it before it became the in thing to hate on, and I really enjoyed it. So you may have passed on it, you may not have a 3DS, you might have said, oh, Resident Evil, I'm not playing that. Don't be like that. Give it a chance. You're going to see the game is excellent. And by the way, since no one bought it, it's probably on discount shelves everywhere. Snag this gem up for 20 bucks or less and play through a really awesome installment in the Resident Evil series. Up next, a quirky game gets an HD re-release that falls under the radar, but I thoroughly enjoyed.